Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you're new, please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can get upload on future videos. And today we are going to talk about something that I haven't used in such a long time, and I decided to use it for a fashion event. And that is the Sigma 18-35 lens. Is this something that you still use? Is it something that still should be used after all this time? Let's talk about it. So recently I attended this fashion event at the Mall of Millenia here in Florida. So if you're in Florida or the Orlando or surrounding areas, you know what the Mall of Millenia is. It's one of the biggest malls here in Florida, at least in the Orlando area. And with this mall, they're very fashion centric. And when I say that, because they have all the different type of stores, all the different type of clothing brands that you could possibly find there. They had an actual fashion show, and there's a stylist show really to showcase what they're capable of doing in that section. And those stylists came out, they brought out all their best styles to showcase for the public to see. I mean, just amazing. The crowd was amazing, and I had to use a lens that would capture the video or even some of the pictures very clearly. And I brought out my Sigma 18-35. Now, in doing so, I was really skeptical because I haven't used this lens in such a long time. This lens is almost 10, 11 years old, maybe a little bit more. After shooting with it, I found out that this lens really still holds its own after all this time. So if you're a photographer or a videographer and you still have this lens, by all means, use it. And if you're new to photography or videography, see if you can find this on the used market, or even if you have to buy a brand new. It's relative. It falls in the range of around a 24 to 70 because this is an 18-35 and it's made for crop sensor cameras. So it falls in that range, about 28 to about 55, maybe somewhere around there, because it has a 1.6 times crop, at least on the Canon side. The only thing that bothered me was the fact that this is an older lens. If you came from like the DSLR ages or of cameras where the T7Is, the Rebel series, this was like your godsend camera. So if you had one of the Rebel series, you looked at this as the best lens that you could possibly put on your camera, and for a relatively good price. So I decided to take this lens out with my Canon R5. This is the original one. Now, the good thing about this camera is that it has a crop mode, so it crops in 1.6 times. So you'll be able to use this with no problem. You wouldn't need a speed boost or anything. Now, considering that the camera originally has 45 effective megapixels, it cuts it down to about maybe 20, 22, maybe something around there, anywhere between 17 and 22, somewhere around there. And so the image quality is still great, but if you're one of those photographers or videographers that like to crop in on the image, you'll notice a little bit of grain or something towards the detail side of the images. But other than that, if you take some good pictures, you probably wouldn't even notice it at all. And so while I was walking around, I had my GoPro attached to this PG, let me see, yes, this is PGY Tech, to a PGY Tech strap around my neck. It's very useful. You just put it around and you can go around walking, get you a first person's view for video just to capture different reactions, just things maybe I possibly missed while I couldn't capture handheld. Around the 24mm focal length was probably the best one that you can probably get out of this. Although I like the 35 and the far end because it crops in a little bit more, so it's around to about a 50. The fact that this is a 1.8 still makes this a great lens. You get a very shallow depth of field with this lens. The autofocus is snappy, and that's one thing that a lot of people look for in lenses, autofocus. That's probably one of the main things that they look for. Does this have good autofocus? And I think that for a lens that has been out for such a long time, it still remains on point, especially if you compare it to the 24 to 70, like I said, I normally use. It still remains to be on point. It doesn't have IBIS, so that was one of the bad things. But then again, the camera that I was using does have some in-body image stabilization. And with that, it made for the perfect combination for video. I'll show you guys some video right here. You let me know what you think of the video, if it was worth it or not to use the 18-35 Sigma lens. Let's take a look. Now, I also captured some images using this, and I think that the fact that this had snappy autofocus because with the R5, it has zone focus and you also have eye focus. Anyone that you put it on, it just rendered the image great. I can always take a good shot with this. And that's the one thing that made me say this lens really is something that I should keep in my bag quite often. I went around, captured the audience, captured their reactions, took their photo ops when they were by the receipt wall, whether they're by the photo booth, just different things that were going on. And each time this never failed. I don't even think this really missed focus, maybe once or twice. And that was really on my end because I think I had the shutter speed a little bit too low. But that was just on my end because everybody was moving. There was a lot more action. So I wanted to capture them while they were actually doing it. So, but outside of that, it still remained focused, sharp eye focus, and I didn't even have to switch my lens at all throughout the whole night. And I think that was one of the best things. Let me know in the comments, do you guys use the Sigma 18 to 35 f1.8 still? Or is it something that you just gave up on a long time ago? I mean, of course, there are other options out there, but Sigma has been one of those contenders, especially for Canon, to produce a great lens. All right, let me know, drop a comment. But also, I want to thank the personal stylist at the Mall of Millenia for allowing me to shoot, allowing me to record the video. It was a great experience. They also have a complimentary style session where you receive $100 off towards an in-suite session purchase if you book by November 30th, and also use the code INSIDERS at the Mall of Millenia. So if you're in Florida and you want to get a new style or a revamped style, if you're a model, or if you're just looking for something different, stop at the Mall of Millenia. Give them a shout. Get yourself a little pizzazzed up and let me know exactly how that session went if you did go there. All right? Drop a comment. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next one. And don't forget, stay creative.